What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 30 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, to my surprise, we were able to reach the Age of Reckoning, a Nolengram, a final level, with it being at 42, I believe. Grudges required, 42k, obviously, grudges required. Pretty intense and very close and down to the wire, but we managed to pull it off, and we've got 15 turns of quite a bit of buffs to work with. In addition, this is probably the perfect time to be confederating Karazakarak, which we will do in only 2 turns, so that'll be quite nice, and hopefully they can even make some headway out here before we can fed them, though I suppose them getting additional grudges might not be the best. On the other hand, let's see, total grudges you need? Yeah, okay, I don't think Thorgrim is going to reach us at this point. At the very least, it's unlikely. It's also kind of interesting to see that Thoric has way less grudges, but is actually higher level than the Thorgrim here. I wonder why, but anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, it's a brand new turn, so we gotta move everybody, and I guess we'll be starting off with this, Dodgel Sharbeard, besieged by Beradon and by Valkia, like smartly so, as it prevented this army from healing, and the Longbeards were damaged from the previous battle. So, do or die moment, and should we do and not die, and we can reward the army with a few of those Grudge Settler units and power it up a little bit. Now, we've got Deadly Onslaught for you. I guess we can start moving through Tradition and Innovation, getting a little bit of extra ammunition for those gyrocopters with brimstone guns, at the least. And if we end up putting a fire barge in here, then that'll help that out as well. At the very least, we want one super flame cannon in here, or a Grudge Settler flame cannon. Anyway, let's see what else we got in terms of points. Sharpen weapons, max that out, please. Rune of Speed, I think, is one we use quite a bit. Not necessarily quite the most in this particular army, but still quite useful, I'd wager. Honestly, I feel like a rune of... the Rune of Oath and Steel should offer more than 30 armor. 30 armor is quite a bit maybe on Slayers, but on units like Ironbreakers or Iron Drakes or Longbeards, it's not anything crazy, and certainly not anything crazy for Dwarfen lines in general, but nonetheless. Anyway, the Thane. What are we missing on you, sir? Probably gonna go for Deadly Blade with you. We can make you a little bit more Livy and less killy with Scarred Veteran, but I think we want you to be a little bit more killy. Anyway, Morgus. I guess you're going to go through Sapper, just so that we can reposition our artillery and our Iron Drakes as fast as possible, and that's all we got. That's all we got, so we head into the fight now. Beradon. Close victory, and yes, we got that Banner of Eternal Flame now. Does Valkia have fire resistance? Surprisingly, no, but good for it's good for us. I was gonna put the Banner of Eternal Flame, I believe, on. Okay, so neither of the Grudge Throwers have a fire damage on them, which is hardly surprising. Neither do the Longbeard's Grudge Settlers, but they're really kind of far away from everybody, and they've been around a long time, so I'm hesitant to let them go. Now let's put this on, I guess, one of the cannons, or maybe actually this cannon. Why that cannon? Just because. Alright, good enough. Close victory. Valkia is most definitely going to be a problem, as she is always an issue to bring down, even with much stronger armies than this, but we'll give it a shot. Go. Alrighty, here we go again, though this time we've got the addition of all the little piles of Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors. Very damaged, but from the garrison, meaning we can sacrifice them at our leisure, and that's pretty good when you have flamethrowers and other dangerous units that could hurt your own units. Anyway, as usual, we Vanguard deploy our Brimstone gun units of gyrocopters, and they're going to start working on the enemy horsemen, as obviously these guys are going to be dangerous to said gyrocopters, and I guess to a slightly lesser degree to our artillery pieces. Alrighty, well, it's a lot easier to kill these things than it is to kill Chaos Knights, and they're pretty much out of there. Looks like a few of the enemy units have gotten in range of one of our flame cannons, and those Forsaken are going to suffer for it. And that said, most of the enemy army at the current time is away from our artillery pile, and this probably isn't the best sort of map to be set up on. I actually considered whether we should set up all the way back here and then move here somewhere, as we have this big old defensive side cliff, but then who knows, it really would depend on how the enemy were to approach our line here. I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, in the meantime, Grudge Throwers cannons are going to continue their work. The enemy looks like they're waiting for the reinforcements, and I guess they pretty much have to. And if they get closer to our artillery, they'll just get obliterated. But the first line, or the first little army that's outside the settlement, is far, far too weak to make any kind of difference without waiting for Valkia. Fortunately for them, Valkia is on the field, and it looks like she wants to give chase to our gyrocopters. We're going to summon the non-brimstone guns, the regular gyrocopters, just to sort of annoy Valkia and prevent her from chasing the brimstones around while they continue annoying the enemy army. Now, the curious thing is, where the heck are these guys going? We're set up over here. It almost seems like the enemy army wants to set up over here instead, which would be not good for us, because then they would be able to advance over this hill and towards us, and we wouldn't be able to do too much about that. The Grudge Throwers would still be able to fire, but the cover of the hill would still be quite the problem for that. On the other hand, the enemy is trying to get to that position in column formation, and that's not a great thing to be in when you got those gyrocopters firing on you, quite literally. Anyway, we'll keep harassing the enemy army with, once again, the relatively limited ammunition on the gyrocopters, but they're certainly putting in the work today. 52 kills and 8k, and 59 kills and 7k damage on the two of them. And of course, all of this damage and death dealt before the enemy army closed the distance. Valkia is still flying around chasing gyrocopters now, and we are trying to get a few shots off on her, but she looks like she's just gonna dodge pretty much all of them anyway. Ooh. Alright, getting a few hits into our own units, but these are the summoned gyrocopters. We don't really care what happens to them. What we do care about is how much damage we can deal with the brimstone guns. Almost makes me wish we had a few more of these things in this particular army, just, you know, for more glorious flamethrower action, but there's really no space for them. I mean, we could replace the Longbeards with more gyrocopters, but the thing is, I feel like they've been with this army for so long, I'm attached to them now, so we're gonna have to content ourselves with just these two. Anyway, it looks like another unit of horsemen moved in as a reinforcing unit, and we're gonna have to burninate this one, and just as we did the other. And the enemy appears to finally be sort of moving towards us, but they did move a fairly significant portion of their army over to this side of the map. And oh, I thought I saw the lava thing over in this corner. I thought this was another pile of enemy units, because it's also like reddish, like the enemies are, and was very, very concerned there for a second. Oh wow, that water looks interesting. Supposed to be glacial water or something, but huh. It just looks very different, but anyway, and distraction, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. Kind of not what I would expect when fighting chaos. Expect things to be a lot more crazy. River of Blood and all. This is a corn-corrupted territory. We have cornate skies, but the waters are disconcertingly blue. Anyway. Looks like the enemy's still suffering from our artillery. Valkia is still chasing around those gyrocopters. I don't know what to do with this unit at this point. It's just gonna have to keep running from her, and this does mean that she probably won't be getting to us unless she leaves that gyrocopter unit alone. But what can you do? Looks like a few units have made their way forth. It's just the quick movers or fast movers, some Chaos Warhounds, and over here, an enemy Chaos Lord of Khorne on a Gorby's chariot as well. And he does do a fair bit of damage to these Longbeards as he charges forth 20 kills rather, and will back off to his Forsaken to help out. We're going to get a few of those flamethrowers hitting those Forsaken, hopefully not clipping our own units too much as more enemy units move on in. Flamethrowers and flame cannons alike will burninate Forsaken and Marauders. This is something they should be pretty darn effective at, while the demons, chaos spawn, etc. continue to make their way forth. If you're wondering why they're doing it fairly slowly over here, pretty much every single enemy infantry unit that's being targeted by an artillery piece is trying to do the dance to avoid them. This is a way that you can create additional distance between yourself and your army and the enemy army. And it's working to keep the enemy bloodletters back, at the least. On the other hand, the units that, the little sort of third of the enemy army that made their way around that hill is now pouring over the hill, and is going to be a little bit dangerous for us. We're going to have to hope that our Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and our Iron Drakes will be able to hold. Especially as the enemy has taken the high ground here, which is good for them. Alright, just keep on firing. Ooh, nice charge from the enemy lord, who's still causing havoc in the background, moving right in to our Iron Drakes and killing off 2 of them with his first charge. We're trying to chase him around with Stotchel and Bernie and our Rune Priest, but, well, having a little bit, Runesmith rather, but having a little bit of a difficult time of it. Looks like some Chaos Spawn have made it in despite 2 Iron Drakes and a Flame Cannon firing upon them, but they are heavily damaged, and the enemy army is starting to be in pretty bad shape. Down to about maybe 85% in our favor. The balance of power, I mean. Valkia still wasting her time trying to chase those gyrocopters around, though it does look like she has killed a few of them. Kind of hard to say whether it was the gyrocopters with the brimstones or whether it was the summoned ones. However, just gotta get this damn lord out of here so that our fire units can, well, I guess they're all fire units, but so that our flamethrower units can burninate the enemy here, though it looks like that will be that. The enemy will break. Was a little bit close on the kill as they did manage to flank us as they wanted, but, well, at the end of the day, most of their force was still reduced to cinders, and because of the addition of the a little bit of garrison units, we were able to essentially not take any damage whatsoever on our artillery line, which is great. Valkia is still flying around and is unbreakable, but she will melt away. Actually, is she unbreakable? Well, I guess she's not unbreakable. She's just going to melt away. But anyway. Probably not going to be able to hit her with cannons, and you know what, it would probably be a waste of time to do so anyway. She's just going to drop out of the sky. We're better off using the cannons to fire upon things that are running, so that we can hopefully delete them. The enemy lord escapes with 83 HP, unfortunately, after causing a little bit of havoc, and the 83 HP was what happened to him after the Heart of Malevolence brought him down to that level. Muster of Malevolence is the spell of ability, but I believe Heart of Malevolence is the name of the item itself. Anyway, well done once again to the Jartrum. Alright, there we go. I feel bad for Valkia there. I really do. The AI completely wasted her time chasing those gyrocopters or brimstone guns around. I suppose in retrospect what I could have done is force the gyrocopters to the ground and then ran them at our army, but she was still chasing them around, and I don't know. There's got to be a degree to which we can help the AI and do more damage to us. I suppose even in that situation, we would have still popped the Rune of Slowness on her and then cannoned her down with the Iron Drake. She probably would have survived to get to our lines, but the thing there is we would have also had to hurt our own gyrocopters to do that, which kind of would have been annoying. Anyway, the enemy armies are pretty much destroyed, so I think we are more or less free to execute and loot. At least we should be. I'm gonna hope that the Longbeards don't die to the auto-resolve next turn, but I guess we'll find out. We also do have that Dark Elven army moving in, and I don't know whether they can reach us here. Actually, they probably can, funnily enough. Maybe I should have healed up. What do they have in their army? Oh, we can't see other than the shades. Okay, we got a student. Okri. Oh, damn, I was hoping that if I could get you to use an ability on this army, then we could see what exactly is in it. But alas, that's not the case. Alright, and knock out Baradon's army. Like so, Stachel. And let's see, we're at 32. Okay, no losses there. We can heal up a little bit. Yeah, alright, fine. Heal up a little bit. Now, we just fought while damaged, and oh, it's a massive pile of shades, all of which would be hidden from our artillery. Huh. That's actually a solid army, and that's probably why they have so many grudges incurred. 3,000. Wow, why do you have 3,000? I don't remember Malekith having that many. Huh. Interesting. 933, 435. His settlements certainly haven't racked up that many grudges. This is a lot of grudges on this. Could it perhaps be related in some way to this army having been used to destroy Grumbrindle? Curious. But I'm sure it'll help. Anyway, we could try to go after this army. This is a bad matchup for us, though. And the shades being invisible and all, we could try to spot them with the gyrocopters, but that might be a problem as well. Nonetheless, we are in range of them. I will consider this. Let's see what else we have to do this turn, and then I will consider this. Otherwise, we could try to ambush them or wait until we heal. And, yeah, Zatan the Black has come back. Who the hell are you? Fimber Copperpot. The little copperpot that could. But that's not Fimber. Huh. Oh, it's a Grudge Settler army. Yes, all spawns a temporary army of Grudge Settler units. I was like, what the heck is this? I've forgotten that this mechanic exists because, well, we had never reached the tier 5 before because of the ludicrous numbers from the original patch. Anyway, Kurgan Ranulfson, I've just realized that there's an issue with you. There are no breaches in the walls, and while we need you to destroy Zatan, you don't have siege attacker, even with Malakai nearby. Oh, game, why? Okay, wait. Malakai, I would like you to transfer to this guy. It'll prevent you from moving if you keep the account. Okay, well, we're gonna have to sack this again, aren't we? It's not gonna be worth anything, but just to prevent Malakai from losing motion. Alright, give him one of your cannons, just the one. And assuming that it won't get destroyed here. Nope, now you have siege attack. We'll obviously auto-resolve. This is garbage. Auto-resolve. It's probably going to damage the cannon, but what can you do? Actually, didn't really damage it that much. It did damage our Slayer pirates, though. Sack this, like so. Range plus 15 for artillery and magic item drop chance. Fantastic. You're going to lead our artillery army, but you will not be leading it here. So we're going to transfer the cannon back. Then we're going to have you occupy Bloodwind Keep. Occupy. And then Warhost of Jar destroyed. You can keep the Guildmaster, and we're going to delete you again. And we're going to pop him back up right here, where our now four units of conventional artillerists are waiting. Each one will add 10% ammunition and 5% missile strength to all the artillery in the army. And it's going to be just a pile of artillery and maybe like 4 iron breakers or something like that. Actually, land ships would work really well because they're artillery, but they can also melee. And same with tanks, but I don't think that we have enough allegiance with the Imperials for it, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would do it. And also, I'm just loving the land ships so much. But anyway, you are gonna go for now, and you'll be back in 3 turns. Oh wait, it's 5 turns unless we reset the skills, isn't it? Wait, is that still a thing? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, you're wounded for 5 turns, but if we reset your skills, you'd only be wounded for 3 turns. What, why? Okay, weird. They should just, I still feel like they should just do it in the way that the 1-button respec did it, but whatever. Not a big deal. You, sir, are going to not risk getting intercepted, though I think you can't. We'll have Malakai sack the Foundry of Bones. In fact, wait, if you move here, 40 and 2. 40 and 2, okay, the exact same amount. Just move a little bit closer. We'll sack this place. I'm gonna go right here. And we don't care about your attrition, because we're going to use you to occupy the Foundry of Bones, while Malakai heads further south towards the Red Fortress. Also, we are now complete in terms of the rune-etched hull, and maxed out Spirit of Grungni. Well, I mean, there's still a few more buildings to build here, but they're not super critical right now, especially considering we need the money for other purposes. Anyway, Stachel, okay, we'll move you after. Let's say Grand. with Snorri. Great Arena, Chill Road. Yeah, man, Malekith. Malekith is really mishandling his duties as CEO of Nagaroth Inc. But anyway, Nagaroth Inc. But anyway, Gromby. Ah, you've reached Malignance of the Seven Poxes. Do we go now? We go now. Alright, let's level you, and then let's go. Oh, you only have the 1 point. Alright, fine, I'm gonna get you Foe Seeker, but I'm gonna ignore everybody else's points because I don't care enough about them. Let's assume... yeah, they're all good. I mean, the Requisition is fine, but it's not really needed here. Now let's do this. None of these guys are new in this army, at least not that I recall. Oh, I could have popped the Iron Drakes in there, but... that's fine, we'll do it after. Banner of Eternal Flame. In theory, needs to go on the organ guns. Problem. The organ guns all have runes on them currently. We could give it to somebody who's near to them, and one of the engineers, for example. As long as they're within 35 meters, it should work. Alternatively, we give them to you. And just make sure that you're in the very back beside the organ guns. I'll see if we can make it work. And if we can't, then we'll just do a slight adjustment. Anyway, man, I'm almost tempted to retreat to give him the other troll hammers, but it's not like I think they're... but I really wanted to use them. Oh, wait, can we even get them on the field within allied territory rather than our own? I'm not sure, so screw it. Let's fight the champion of Nurgle. Go. Alright, Gromby, nice speech, simple, effective, I appreciate it. Anyway, here we go again, the fourth and final of the champions of the Chaos Gods from this particular adventure, really spread out quite far from Malakai, but in general, and making it not so easy to go after them. Anyway, now that we have those Troll Hammer Torp Flyers, we can drop out 30% of the HP from a unit of plague drones with a single volley, and until the enemy actually tries to go for us, we can sort of stay here waiting for the recharge. It does take quite a while though, down to 18 seconds. I think it started at like 19.1 or something like that, but yeah. Takes quite a bit of time to get those volleys going, but they are quite effective when they do volley. Can't wait to get another one of these units in here, which we'll be able to very shortly. Plague drones down to about half HP now, and we'll get another volley in there, while the regular unit of gyrocopters protects the unit of troll hammers. And there we go. Ooh, a couple missed that time. Almost half of them missed that time, but these guys will probably only take one more volley before they're gone. And the ammunition is actually pretty okay on these guys. At the very least, decent. I think maybe better than the gyrocopters with brimstone guns. It may be just because it takes so long to actually get a volley going, but it works, it works. It's also a little bit better on single entities than it is on these units like this, and especially because there's a tendency for projectiles to miss smaller flying units, because the way that they move sort of forces them to bounce around while they fly. We've seen it before with the Great Hawks, when all of our artillery were trying to fire on them at once, and every single cannon shot was missing from like 3 artillery pieces. Not a single one of them hit for like half the map, which was pretty crazy. But I'm still thinking that maybe the Great Hawks have some kind of special hidden ability, or they have like a dodge ability that you can't see in the main thing. Anyway, in the main like line of skills. Anyway, it looks like the enemy Lord Malignance of the Seven Poxes attempts to give chase to the gyrocopters with troll hammers. The rest of our army remains very, very far away, but if this guy wants to follow, he's going to take more hits. And the organ guns are now in range of him, and we should shortly be able to turn and get another volley off the troll hammers and the organ guns together, both of which bring the enemy lord down. Alright, very nice. Over on the rightmost flank, it looks like another unit of Plague Drones. This time Death's Heads has moved in to try to attack the battle barge with its little escort of other gyrocopters. We will summon more gyrocopters in the face of these Death's Heads, and I was hoping that they would be distracted by them, but it looks like they still want to go after the battle barge. Does mean that it'll probably take some damage. This is probably a fairly decent use of the Death's Heads, who, similar to our Trollhammer Torps, Trollhammer Torp flyers, are pretty good at sniping single entities like this. Kind of the equivalent unit in the Nurgle roster. On the other hand, they're going to probably be taking a lot more damage than we are. Enemies are moving in. The organ guns are starting to fire upon some exalted plague bearers. Certainly don't want them firing their range attacks on any of our own flyers. But it looks like that unit will not be able to reach us. That said, there's 3 great unclean ones on the way. Looks like some plague drones, or plague toads rather, or pox riders to be specific, are going to try to hit us from the flanks. Both flanks at once, but I don't think either one is going to make their way through. There we go. Very, very nice. And that unit will... I don't know why I tried to run, because that's certainly not going to help it out. The great unclean ones are almost in range and will start taking damage now as well. We're going to back Grumbrindle off so that he doesn't take too much damage and so that he doesn't really block the enemies. He might get caught by one unit, but that's not a big deal. And I want to see a nice volley onto the great unclean ones. I guess we'll have to wait for this poor little unit of plague bearers to die. Exalted or not, the troll hammers bring it down just the same. And there we go, here comes the next enemy. Great unclean one. The first of them will start taking many a troll hammer to the face and a little bit of flame too. Will he be able to reach the line? No, he most certainly will not. And the next one looks like he's going after Gromby, who has switched to the third of the great unclean ones, perhaps regretting his decision at the current moment. And the great unclean one looks very amused with itself. The second one, however, will most likely be brought down by the harpoon. Very nice shot from the battle barge there. It actually knocked the enemy down, but he's so close to death that a little bit more troll hammers or organ guns will break him apart. It looks like that's it for the enemy army as all the demons begin to be banished. Nurglings and plague bearers and great unclean one alike attempt to go after Grumbrindle, who's the only melee troop we have in this army, but he leads them quite well. And beautiful shot of the troll hammers bringing down the great unclean one, who will immediately spawn Nurglings, but they'll immediately get hit with these Zufbar 42 pounders and more of those organ gun shots. Lovely. Sometimes when you look from far away, the shots from the organ guns looking like this almost look like I don't know, like a glitch or like screen tearing or something. Oh, and you get the right angle on it. But anyway, a lovely battle, apparently a close victory, although I'm not sure how that could possibly be. I don't think we even used up a lot of ammunition, mostly because the troll hammers are pretty darn good in terms of ammunition expenditure not being too crazy. I was just laughing at all the Nurglings flying around, but yeah, nice. Alright, very, very nice. Those iron drakes with troll hammers melt great unclean ones like nobody's business, and I'm very happy with the gyrocopters with troll hammers as well. Look at the damage comparison, 1600 by the first gyrocopter, the regular gyrocopter unit, and 18k from the troll hammers. It's a really, really nasty, perfect skirmishing unit. They have an extremely high alpha strike, which means if you're willing to give them the amount of micro that you would a chariot unit, they fly in, they put one volley that takes like a third of the HP of pretty much anything that it hits, and then they can fly away for 20 seconds, happy to reload for the 20 seconds that they require, then fly in another volley, and then fly back out. Unlike units like, I don't know, Outriders or normal skirmishing units that have a low reload time, that need to stay and consistently gets shots in. These things having a high alpha strike really makes them very well built for that particular purpose. Anyway, I'll stop singing their praises for now, and let's continue. We got 4K, we'll get a little bit more out of the ransom captives, and the fourth of the champions of the Chaos Gods has been defeated, completing that particular adventure. I believe the reward is nothing to write home about. It was just like recruit rank for organ guns, I think. Yeah. 2 organ gun recruit ranks, which we really don't care about, because we can already recruit them at rank 8, I think, which is already pretty up there. And, this thing had like a little exclamation mark, but whatever. So, all that remains are Dodan, Mugga the Scurry, or Mugga Scurry, and then the rat stuff. And we'll get to the rat stuff as we move our way down there. Now, Gromby, we need you to travel southward. I guess we need you to heal up for a turn, actually. Would you be able to head out to sea next turn? I'm gonna hope that you will. I'd rather you be at close to full HP. Ooh. Well, we'll find out next turn. We'll head to sea, we'll grow. Oh, I guess we can land here anyway, so the healing isn't super important. Alright, fine, then just travel. And just travel in your current way. And we'll grab the island, we'll land at the Winter Pyre and heal maybe, and then we'll take a trip down the coastline towards Prague and Volksgrad and whatnot and destroy these guys. Yeah, it's once again, it feels a little bad, but these darn minor factions really should have been confederated long ago, and if they're not doing anything, well, they're not serving any purpose. Which is what not doing anything means. Stachel. Once again, wait, we just fought, so let's move everybody else around, shall we? Rorik, you're gonna keep recruiting for probably quite a while. I probably should have started building, wait. Build 1 unit of Giant Slayers via global, we'll build the other 3 via local. And if we want to give artillery to the army, I'll think about it. King Azrael, you, sir. I guess we're just going to jump down southwards to Darkhold, like so. Are these guys defending Black Fortress? Let's find out. Ungrim and Cobalt. Well, you have the cannons, and I'd rather have them batter down the Black Fortress, so let's move you in. And no, there's no defenses. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Maybe their armies are dead, but this isn't worth a fight. It's a pile of hobgoblins, tier 1 hobgoblins, in a tier 5 settlement. And they have that Dreadquake Mega Mortar there. Well, they really shouldn't have left their main settlement exposed in the manner that they did here, but they did. So, who are we to judge? Yeah, ooh, do we get anything at Pig Barter? No, we can't build that thing. Which is a bit of a shame, but what can you do? Are these guys still at war? Yes, they're still at war. Gotta check that every turn, because they'll turn on us as soon as they're not. Yeah, once again, SFO really does a much better job of the garrisons existing in the settlements being stronger, because this is silly for a tier 5. Even if it doesn't have a direct garrison construction. Yeah, man, we still took a little bit of damage, but that's hardly surprising. I'd be tempted to sack it, but we're gonna occupy it. Student, Dwarf and Tattooist, Stonemason, another student. 3 students? Alright, not bad. 546. Let's hope that it's 600 and not 800 that we're looking to get. Anyway, we keep the Ranger Barracks, which we don't need here. We can... I mean, there's not... I mean, I guess we could do Oath Gold here as well. Might as well. Go for Oath Gold. Go for Oath Gold. It'll be a little bit expensive to get up there, but we need very little in the way of reductions on everything else since it's already at high levels, so I think we'll be fine. And get the Beer Hall. Then I guess we'll still need the Growth, and then, of course, the Tinker's Den, in which we build everywhere. Lovely. Alright, you guys stick around. Let's see who's up next in the order. Yuri Brinbright. You are ferrying the Hammerers and the Slayers over to our friends in the south, so go... Oh, would you actually go this way, or would you... No, you would go this way, meaning you want to go, like, right here, and then you want to jump this way, or... underway stance that way. Zamnal Rocky Breaker. Okay, how do we deal with you? Assuming that we send Belagar to Aranessa, because we should probably knock her out, we will probably want to move Zamnal over to Xerexil. before Wurzag gets there. Now, Wurzag is a pretty solid stack, so we have to be wary of being intercepted, but I think we have to take the risk, especially since we don't really care about what happens to this army, let's face it. In terms of what you should get, I guess we're gonna go Tactician, because regardless of what your army will eventually hold, or regardless of what it will eventually hold, it'll probably still be useful to have Tactician for you. And rank 12 is next level, so you can get this next level, but let's get Obstinacy. And then we'll hold on to the rest of the points. Then you're gonna jump here, we'll see if we get intercepted. And intercepted we did not get, okay. Meaning we are now, well, safe from Wurzag is maybe pushing it, but at least we're good there. You can reach Ruinous, so we might be able to force a fight here. That would actually be swell. Belegar, get your mentor, sir. You were missing rather honor by Grimnir and blessed by Grungni, but we need neither one. Fire and Fury and Tradition Innovation. Only if we eventually, possibly, get Thunder Barges in your army. Still, I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe. Alright, let's max out Miner's Instinct. I don't think we care about Iron Willed unless we're moving through it in order to get Inspirational Leader into Inquiring Mind, but it'll depend on how many points we have remaining afterwards. Let's instead get you Ancestral Grudge Greenskins, eh? I feel like Belegar's variant of this should be a little bit more Skaven-centric, but sure. Actually kind of surprising that he's not a little bit more anti-Skaven. Not that it matters. Alright, let's get you... the 1 point isn't horrible at 5%, but it's still worse than Moonmaker, so I think we're gonna get just Scarred Vet. You are out front in this army, pretty much all the time. And then we'll upgrade your Ghost Pals. Triangulation, of course, and we don't really need Overseer. I guess we can get Barrackfire Handshake. I really wish you didn't have Bear Essentials, because it strips away the already limited armor that you guys have, but what can you do? You guys at least have 35, you guys have 15. Okay. Sharpen weapons and harden armor. Funnily enough, harden armor... yeah, I still haven't decided. Honestly, if anything... It's nice on the Bugmans, but the 10% missile strength may actually be better, because it'll melt enemies away before they need to have the armor, you know what I mean? And I'm still inclined to say sharpen weapons. On the other hand, 10 armor would be 10 more armor for the Ghost Pals, which with their ethereal makes their effective HP quite a bit higher. I'm gonna hold off and wait until I make a decision. Or until we win the campaign. What about you? King Lun Ironhammer. Woundmaker is the way to go, I believe? Yeah, let's go for Woundmaker, why not? Probably should get you guys speed as well via Relentless. A Revered Thane, and you already have Woundmaker, so get your Blade Shield, please. Alrighty, Runesmith, you can... Yeah, I'll just save the point for now. I mean, the only thing you're really missing is Rune of Negation and Relentless and... Well, you know what? Rune of Negation in emergencies. Let's actually get that. Because if the ghosts get attacked by something that's doing magical damage, we may want to pop the Rune of Negation just so that they aren't affected by it. For now, Belegar, we need to move to Sartosa. It might mean that the Greenskins will take Lucchini because we're busy with these guys, but this looks like a pretty fun fight, so I feel like we shan't miss out on it. Damn, they have Norse Roar, Anzapar 42-pounders, and Sartosa Grape Shot, which means we'll have to be careful about the way that we deploy our lines, especially due to the relative lack of armor, meaning we'll take more damage. But what can you do? Away we go.
Yes, my king, today is a great day. Our beards are long, we remember the wrongs caused.
Alrighty, I'm with Belegar on this one. Today is indeed a great day, getting some great variety of battles in this particular episode, with 3 different armies fighting 3 different factions as well. Very, very nice, and Belegar will round this one out. Once again, the Rangers Vanguard deployed in a place where they cannot be seen by the enemies to start whittling whittling the forces of the Sartosans down. We're going to target the bigger threats first. Well, the second, well, bigger, because they're ogres. Actually, the second biggest threat first. Really, the biggest threats are the 2 units of deck gunners in here, but we can't quite get close enough to them to start ripping them apart with the Rangers. So the Rangers are instead going to target the Sirens because of the physical resistance that they have and the general annoyance that they would be if they were able to reach our lines, as well as the Man-Eaters. Of course, these aren't Man-Eaters with ogre pistols, so they're not going to be nearly as concerning, but really, once again, anything that reaches the Rangers in melee will be concerning, so I might as well whittle them down as best we can. And our best is pretty good so far, though we are very quickly moving through our ammunition stocks, and once again, calls for another engineer hero in this particular army. The enemy army is, by the looks of it, waiting for their reinforcements to arrive, which is, generally speaking, a bad idea for the AI. Usually that means it'll take a lot more damage while it's waiting for the reinforcements than it otherwise might. On the other hand, though, they have deployed in a fairly decent position behind this little copse of trees here, as it does allow them to block a lot of our shots from our artillery, at least. Unit of Depth Guard attempts to move to the left flank, where four of our units of Rangers are deployed, only to get hit by, well, only to lose about 60% of their HP. And another volley will absolutely rip them apart. What's the armor piercing like on the Ranger fire? Missile strength, 8 armor piercing. The armor piercing is quite low, but fortunately Depth Guard, vanilla Depth Guard are quite fragile, so it still works quite well for us. Anyway, I guess anybody's fragile when there are sufficient quarrels involved, and it looks like the Man-Eaters are dropping as well. We are also continuing to receive support from our cannons. And, ooh, the enemy's got cannon support of their own as a Norse roar, well, roars through our line of Rangers, and it looks like a few mortar shots will come down as well. Looks like the enemy ogres got just close enough to be able to spot us here. But not to worry, as soon as the enemy ogres are deleted, we are back into hidden, and the enemy should no longer be able to fire upon us. Bring the rest of these Man-Eaters down, gotta reduce the enemy move speed such that they cannot catch those Rangers out anymore. Now, the reinforcements are on the field, so we got limited time to rip apart the rest of the enemy units. There are flyers on field as well, which, because of their speed, are also a threat to the Rangers and their ability to remain hidden. But once again, it's the deck gunners that need to be focused down, because they're a threat to the Rangers and the artillery and really everything we have. Fortunately, deck gunners are notoriously fragile, and a couple of volleys will bring this unit down to maybe 10% of their HP, and I don't remember whether the other one is already destroyed by the Rangers or not. It looks like it might have been. Looks like the Sirens are annoyed and are trying to move, or were trying to move to protect the Rangers, or at least screen them, or not Rangers, the deck gunners, or at least screen them. But we can simply back off to ensure that we remain hidden. Starting to run out of ammunition on the leftmost flank here as more of the deck droppers move in, and we continue trying to tear them from the sky. Because I think of the flying formation, they once again find our units, and another Norse roar and Sartosa guns, or whatever the Sartosan variant is called, of the Zufbar 42-pounders. And we'll hit our Rangers. It's not doing anything too crazy, but we have lost, what, about 10 Rangers all told? Actually, quite a bit more. Maybe 20. Well, 20 Rangers not so bad considering the amount of damage we've dealt to the enemy so far. So, and just keep on firing, and once again try to melt away those deck droppers. I have a feeling that flying units have an easier time spotting hidden units. At the very least, I wouldn't have thought that these units would be spotted, so it has to be the flyers. It's not the ground units that are doing this. It's another one of those hidden traits. Though, I think things like, I think the Sky Lanterns have a spotting trait, don't they? as I recall. Anyway, damn, that's a big old pile of zombies, but they're kind of not noticing the Rangers continuing to annoy them. Of course, the Rangers can't kill them all, so they're going to focus on the biggest threats first, those gunnery mob bombers, who are very, very threatening if they get even a single volley off, and then we'll follow up on the handguns and other such units. Anyway, gotta drop those droppers, and the first one is melting away, and the Fellbats and other deck droppers will have to follow. Or is it all deck droppers? I think it might be all deck droppers. Yeah. I remember people often used to complain about how bad deck droppers were, but I guess they're quite a bit better in SFO. I mean, the handgun ones can do a lot of damage with sniping stuff, and I mean, in my own Aranessa campaign, I used the deck droppers with bombs a lot. In fact, I almost thought that they were overpowered at the time because they could do so much damage, especially to infantry-heavy armies, like a little bit like Fire Leech Bolas do, and Fire Leech Bolas are so good. But anyway, I don't think this particular enemy army is going to get too much value out of those deck droppers. They are starting to move towards us at last, but they've been whittled down pretty heavily. That said, so has our ammunition, as two of our Rangers on the rightmost flank have completely run out, and these two probably have one or two more volleys in them. That said, those enemy units that remain still have to make it through the gauntlet of running towards us, all while under fire from our artillery. Gotta love seeing the 74 armor on the Rangers as well, and beside that war drum. If only the auto-resolve didn't hate it. I really feel like the support units shouldn't be constantly ripped apart by the auto-resolve, because it's generally the support units, isn't it? Like, when you're playing Chaos and you auto-resolve, the War Shrines sometimes get badly hurt, although I suppose when you're playing a battle, the War Shrines have a tendency to get badly hurt as well, since the AI does tend to target them, so I guess the auto-resolve is sort of paying attention to that. Anyway, it looks like a unit of Depth Guard does manage to find our units of Rangers. Now that we are out of ammunition, we don't have enough weight of fire to prevent these guys actually hitting us. And we do summon a unit of gyrocopters to try to help out, and they do help out with enough damage to, if not drop the depth guard, do heavy enough damage to them to start them crumbling away. Aranessa continues moving forward, but is now being focused down by cannon fire, and every shot that misses Aranessa and her personal Krabby will hit these zombies that are escorting her. And I'm sure the monstrous impact from either one of our artillery units is not a thing that she appreciates either. Out on the rightmost flank, the Rangers still have a little bit of ammunition there, so they are still firing, and it looks like they won't need to do so for too much longer, as these poor pirates will fail to reach our lines and will melt away all over the map. Very nice. Aranessa will attempt to book it on out of there on the crab, but it's rather slow, and the cannons will bring her down. And I do believe the battle is ours. Unfortunately, Sartosa itself will not fall to this because the Skaven slaves are too fast moving for us to deal with, or for us to catch. Let's see, 46 and 46. Yeah, they're about the same speed with the Rangers. Too bad we don't have the Slayer pirates from our run and gun army in here, as they move at 70 speed and can run down Skaven like nobody's business. Now that's alright though. And speaking of Slayer pirates, there's only room for pirates that are of the Slayer variety, and with this, I do believe that Sartosa is destroyed, as in the faction. Man, once again, Belegar's army makes me feel bad for the AI. I mean, there's not much we can do about that. Ooh, Banner of Swiftness. You can actually go on. Ooh, do we put you on Belegar because he's slow, or do we put you on the drum so that it can keep up with the Slayers? I'm not sure. I'm inclined to say Belagar so that he could sort of reposition if he needs to see off an enemy lord or a charging set of knights or something like that going after the slayers, so I think that's what I'll do. Anyway, as I was saying, this is a good example of why I don't tend to build rangers too much, because the AI is really, really bad at dealing with them, at the very least bad at dealing with units in snipe in general, and the same thing goes for shades and other similar sorts of things. They doesn't react to them enough, and most of their army gets destroyed in that manner. But in this particular case, since we have so many other armies, and it's such a different sort of army, I think that's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. We're gonna heal up because we'll need to auto-resolve, and I'm not entirely sure whether we can actually reach Sartosa from where we are, as that was pretty much the edge of our movement range. So let's find out. We can. And this is obviously not worth fighting, and Ruinous is done. We're gonna auto-resolve. It's going to pretty much kill off our drum, but what can you do? Actually, it's reasonably alive. And we will occupy the place as it is at tier 3. Not quite tier 4. Sartosa are done for, and we're able to build both the Peg Street Pawn Shop and Smithy's Tavern, which is nice. So we'll leave both of you. And we're probably gonna need walls down here, actually.
Speak honestly and swiftly, for the lady watches you.
Looks like the Bretonians are willing to be friendly. Military alliance, they're already... They're already at war with the Exiles of Khorne, so who else could they attack? We're friendly with the Cult of Sigmar, and we'd like to probably remain friendly with the Cult of Sigmar, so I think that's fine. We can do military alliance with them. And frankly, I'd love the same with the Cult of Sigmar if possible, because their allegiance would afford us more Imperial units, which mesh very nicely with our own. Hawkland. Military access, yeah, actually we need this, so yes. We're going to go after the Brass Keep, so we'll need to do that in this manner. Cult of Sigmar will not go for the military alliance quite yet, although at 2.7k I think that's fine, we'll do it. They're also at war with Clan Scryer for some reason, and the Exiles of Khorne. And, ooh, Krok-Gar's right there. I wonder how Krok-Gar feels about us. Hey, and we found Thorek. Karezkarek no longer willing to do the whole confederation via regular means thing, but that's alright, because we'll confederate them via the other means anyway. Legion of the Gore Queen wants peace, but, well, yeah. Once again, I find the very concept silly, and it's not gonna happen either. Income from trade tariffs, but we're probably not going to get that. Ooh, is that a skull? No, it's not a skull. Is that a skull? No, damn it. I just want the free 20k game. That's all I want. Okay, we won't be able to reach Argalis from here, which is another issue. There's, I'd say, 90% likelihood that they at least sack Lucini. In fact, since they're gonna do so, we're going to undo the building right there, as it is safer. Alright, Kalon Deepbrow. I guess you two are now ready to move, so move you shall. Let's jump you together right here. And we're gonna move them together towards the Brass Keep. They started fighting off enemies together, and now that their armies are effectively complete, they can continue fighting together here, and possibly at Dodan, depending on what is exactly in this army, or one might fight them at once. And we might also send them to burn down Lorelorn just because we can. Oh, although we don't have the... we don't have the landmark here like we do in the Empire for some reason, but I guess the dwarfs don't really want to dwell in the forests, but I'm pretty sure the dwarfs do have a landmark at the Oak of Ages. 99% sure, so, Screw Lorelorn, I guess. Can you guys do anything? No, but I guess it doesn't really matter. You're still gonna suffer attrition here either way. The artillerists don't move for 3 more turns, but it will be good to move. Afterwards, Alden. I was going to have you join Belagar's army, and I think that's still going to be the case. I still think we could use just a little bit more move range on the Rangers. It's really unfortunate to have one less, but we'll probably get more value on the ones we have. Plus, in that battle, we ran out of ammunition, so the additional requisition and the additional reload for the artillery is probably quite valuable. So you, last of the Rangers, are gonna go. And you know what, depending on what we do with the artillery later on, we could, well, we could replace them as well. Increase mobility here. And there we go, just gotta level you up, sir. Now, who else, if anybody, needs to move? Money doesn't need to, artillerists don't, but the tech thieves certainly do. We've got 66, 34, 4. 86, 14, and 2. Yeah, Myrmidons is the way to go. Like, what the heck? Green Knight's down here. And he belongs to the Chevalier de Lyonesse. Interesting. Alright, who else? We have another tech thief out there somewhere running around, or not so much. Oh, wrong tech thief. Oh, actually I moved the other tech thief. Alright, and I believe then we are good. Not quite good to end the turn, because we may want to fight this. But even if we do, alas, I don't think we have the time to fight this particular battle right now. We've already done 3 after all. Ooh, what do we have here? Yeah, I built that at the Silver Pinnacle. Frankly, I'm surprised that I did not do that between the episodes. Crackadrack, you're waiting for the architect money. Amusing myself. Maybe we should build another money here. Ancestral Blood Grungni. But it's a runesmith. Really prefer those guys to... oh, you know what? We'll probably build more monies, but we'll build them and delete this money as well. We'll build them once we have the Legion of Asgore destroyed, because this gives us plus 10 recruit rank of engineers, which would mean a lot more boost income, which would make monies more worth it, or, you know, heroes that boost income in that particular zone. Anyway, technology. Way of the Clans, heavy armor plating. I did want that heavy armor plating. I also like the additional buffs for the Slayers, since we were using them quite a bit. But we do have the air army that should be on field, and the artillery army that should be on field next, as the next 2 armies we're building. Though there is also the fact that in 2 turns, when we confederate Karazakarak, we'll be getting a lot of iron breakers from them, essentially for free, rather than bothering to build them, which will mean we'll want the iron breaker buffs as well. At the end of the day, most of the stuff takes 1 turn at this point, so it doesn't really matter. Well, let's start with large-scale shell production, I think. Yeah, let's start with large-scale shell production, and then heavy armor plating, then we'll think about which of these to get next. I do really like the upkeep reduction, but I think we got the important ones out of these. There's also the Lord recruit ranks and local recruitment capacities, which are nice. Oh, right, and the waterproof packaging is quite nice as well for more money, but you know what, there's a lot of stuff in there, and I don't want to deliberate about it too much. Anyway, folks, with that, we're pretty much out of time, so I am going to call the episode here. Next time, we'll most likely, I'm going to say 99% likely, to start the battle off against Dranak Shadow Dart. Definitely going to have to be careful there. Oh, Shadow Dart is the... That's the trait that buffs shades, isn't it? They've got 176 missile range, which is quite a lot. It's only about half the missile strength. I mean, it's half the missile range. Well, maybe not half, but nearly half the missile range of an artillery piece, which is quite concerning. Yeah, we definitely want to knock this army out. And I'm concerned about this being a particularly bad matchup, as the Slayers would have a much better time just chasing those shades down, although with... And those are pretty nasty stats as well, 5140, yeah, damn. It's a scary army. It's a scary army, and we'll see how they do. It's kind of, you know what would have been great? If we could get that army to fight Belagar's army. Both range units, and both are in stock as well, and they in fact outrange our rangers, and outstats them, and would win in melee pretty heavily, but there's no way to get Belagar up there. Even if we were to unlock the underway. But anyway, as I said, ending it here, we'll fight this guy and then the end of the turn next time around and continue on every so where, and hopefully get that Karazakarak Confederation going next time as well. So stay tuned for more Malakai as we head, or start heading, I should say, towards the end of the campaign. Still got Clan Wars to think about, and possibly, the Exiles of Khorne, including Scarby, who's hanging around menacingly. But yeah, more to Dwarfs to come. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes in the comments below. Been a bit of a roller coaster between the hour-longs and the shorter reps, but nonetheless, all glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.